On June 15, Los Angeles plays host to what's arguably the biggest event in video games, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, better known as E3. I'm Brett Molina, joined here with Mike Snider to give you a preview of what to expect at this year's show. So Mike, heading into E3, most of the conversation in video games has been focused on PC and on mobile, but console's still pretty strong, right?
Well, for sure. I mean, mobile kind of gets all the attention just because so many more people are playing them, and you know they go with you everywhere. But in reality, most of the money right now is still spent on console games you play at home in your living room on big screen TVs. I mean, right now we're looking at about $15 billion to be spent on games and hardware for console games like the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Wii U. But when you look at mobile, it's going to be about $4 billion for the year 2015. What's interesting is mobile is actually accelerating faster, but console's just so much bigger. PC games are still going up a little bit. They're going to hit about 4.7 billion this year. All these games, all these types of games will be at E3 the next week in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like a lot of the developers are recognizing that mobile is fast growing, and they seem to be doing things to get in front of that. But I mean, are we going to see a lot from, in terms of the mobile front? Are game developers going to put some focus on mobile, or is it just going to be strictly on kind of what they're doing on console?
Well, sure, there'll be some focus there. I mean, Electronic Arts has been in mobile for many years, and they have their own section, an EA mobile section. And makers like Activision are going to make the next Guitar Hero, are actually going to be able to play the whole game on tablets and on smartphones. So they're recognizing this, whether you want to call it hedging your bets, covering your patootie, whatever, you know. If they're in the game business, they're looking at all platforms.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, we're entering the second full year of all three new consoles. So we have Nintendo with the Wii U, we have Microsoft, the Xbox One, and then Sony with the PlayStation 4. Heading into the show, I mean, can you break down real quick, like how are all three of these guys standing?
Well, right now Sony's still in the lead. I mean, the PlayStation 4, which if you remember back when when the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, before they launched 2 years ago, there's a big hubbub about the Kinect actually listening to you, and people, that may have got the Xbox One some bad rap and got it off to a slow start, and Microsoft kind of had to pedal back and say, okay, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. So the PlayStation 4 is ahead. You know, they're sold about 20 million worldwide. The Xbox One's at about 12 million worldwide. The Wii U, which actually had a year head start, is only about 10 million. And the idea is, do they not have enough games with the famous characters like Mario and Donkey Kong, or the Smash Brothers and Zelda initially, or what? But they're trying to come back. They have a really hot game out now called Splatoon, so they're going to need to make a big show.
Well, you know, the Wii's an interesting case, because, you know, the Wii U rather, because, you know, its predecessor, the Wii, did so well last generation and almost seemed like it's just incredible numbers. Do you think that's kind of hurting the Wii U right now in terms of perception? Well,
you know, the Wii just crossed so many boundaries, you know, got in people that hadn't played video games at home before, almost similarly to how mobile games are like. The thing is, though, if you have a Wii and it still works, you don't need a Wii U. You could bowl, you can play tennis, you can play all these games. You don't need to upgrade. I mean, how much better can you make the bowling alley look, you know? So that's what they're battling. And you know, that the handheld tablet is still, I'm not sure how many developers have figured out how to make proper use of that. Maybe we'll see something cool at E3, I hope so.
Yeah. So we'll both be in LA next week for E3. So to keep track of the latest news and previews, check out our E3 hub at e3.usatoday.com.